Hey curators, welcome back for another fun fibery filled episode here on my channel. My name is Naomi and welcome back if you're a returning viewer. If you're a new viewer, welcome to you as well. All y'all are welcome here on my channel. As I said, I'm Naomi. I am a knitter and spinner and a museum curator here in Florida off the Gulf Coast. And this is my space where I like to talk about all things crafty and what I've been making and thoughts about patterns and all of that good stuff. If you would like to follow me on social media, I am the Yarn Curator over on Instagram. And if you'd like to be friends on Ravelry, I am House of Cardigans over there as well. I do have a Ravelry group with my sister Zoe, who has the Felicity Yarn Studio channel here on YouTube as well. And our joint podcast group is called the Curated Felicity group over on Ravelry. It feels really good to be sitting down and talking with you guys again. I feel like it's been forever since I've sat down for a more traditional show and tell format video here on my channel, and I don't feel like I have too much to show you guys right now, and that's a little bit I'm waiting to show you because I'm trying to finish up another video, but I have been knitting and making a lot lately. And yeah, I have a finished object as well as 2 whips to show you guys, so I hope you enjoy. As I mentioned, I am wearing a finished object. I bound off last night my Diaphanous Raglan. This is a pattern by Jessie May Designs, and I absolutely love this finished knit. I knit mine out of stranded Dyeworks in her Merino nylon base and her Mohair base, and it is in the blue rinse colorway. And so you hold those double for the body, and then you just hold the single strand mohair for the sleeves. And you guys, I love it. I love it. So I'm gonna put some video footage right here of me wearing and modeling it. That'll give you a better idea. I do normally like to talk about how I like to style my hand knits, and I'd love to be able to do that for you today, but I was actually getting ready to film this afternoon when I realized I didn't like anything in my wardrobe to wear with this, so I think I'm gonna go shopping. What I was envisioning when I knit this is I knit it a little bit longer than the cropped version, and so mine ends just right at the top of the hip. And I was thinking either with a higher waisted skirt or a dress that would be nice and flowy out from there. So this is gonna be a tangent, but I don't buy clothes that often, but when I do, it's like once every 2 or 3 years, I'll kind of buy 7 or 8 pieces for my wardrobe, and then that's primarily what I wear and mix it into the other clothes in my wardrobe, and I'll cycle some things out that I don't really gravitate towards anymore or don't fit right, or just, you know, time has taken its toll. So I've kind of been in one of those moods lately where I've been shopping for newer pieces to freshen things up. And so I think I'm going to look for a nice skirt to wear with this, or I was thinking maybe a spaghetti strap dress that comes with a v-neck and either an umpire waist, or you know, something that defines the waist, because I'm a little bit curvier and I like drawing attention to that skinniest part of my body. So yeah, I was thinking that would pair nicely with this. And I did opt to do the bell-shaped sleeves, and sorry about that. My husband, Mr. Yarn Curator, is playing a video game in the living room right now, and I can tell he just got hit by a sleeping gas dart in his game. By the way, I can hear the controller going in the motion he has to do to revive himself, so sorry. Anyways, I opted to do the bell-shaped sleeves on this, so it gives it kind of a nice, fun, funky 70s vibe, which I'm really feeling right now. So as you can see, it is coming just to the top of my waist, and it has the double v-neck in the back, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I can't wait to find the perfect you know, bottom or separate to pair with it. Right now it's paired with my finest pair of black leggings because it's the weekend. So one of the things I really liked about this pattern is the designer does give you options throughout the pattern to customize the fit to your liking. There's optional waist shaping, which I did do, and I really like the way it kind of hugs my curve. And then, like I said, I knit it a little bit longer. The sleeves, she has it written for a tapered, a bishop, or a balloon sleeve, as well as the bell sleeves. I believe I knit this, I did the sleeves on US size 9s, the body on US size 6 or 7s, and then the body I did on US size 6, and then the ribbing is on US size 4s. Really, really happy. I really like this knit. It was really fun. It was really quick and really satisfying. Originally, I had planned to do the sleeves 2 at a time, and so they would match perfectly. It's something I had talked about in my last episode. I ended up knitting them 1 at a time because I didn't have a cord long enough for my interchangeable set to be able to work them 2 at a time. So I'll be investing in a new tool here soon, but you guys, I cannot recommend this pattern enough. If you're looking for something fun and quick, I would definitely recommend it. And I have to say, for the sleeves, I was originally thinking I was going to do the bishop sleeves because I really like the way those look in the pattern. I mean, I was to about here knitting the sleeves and thinking, I think I'd like the flared bell sleeves. And so what I did was I went onto Ravelry and I looked at other people's projects, and I tried to find some that people had done the flared bell sleeves as well as the bishop sleeves, and overall I just kept leaning towards this, and I'm really glad I did it. It was, you know, it's pretty different from any of the other garments in terms of style, and so that was really nice as well to add another little fun element into my me-made wardrobe. So that does it for finished objects. And then I do have 2 whips to talk about this week with you guys. One you've seen before, and one is a new cast on. So I will show you what I've been working on, which is in this project bag made by my aunts. They gifted it to me this summer. They do sell their project bags under the name Fat Bottom Bags, and I believe they have an Etsy store, and as well as they sell in a local yarn shop here in Florida called Pan Banged Knits. And so yeah, they mailed this to me, and it was a nice fun surprise, and it's huge. It holds probably a sweater and then some for projects in it. But living inside is my Worklark shawl, and this is a pattern by Larke of the Fiber Tales podcast, and it is a steeked shawl. So you knit it, it's a colorwork shawl that you knit in the round, and then you steek it apart. And Zoe and I are hosting sorry, there's a hair in there. Zoe and I are hosting a knit along right now, and it is featuring all things steeked. And I recently posted a video with some pattern inspiration and suggestions if you're thinking about joining along. It's pretty informal. Our only requirement for it is that it is a steeked project, and you can participate either in our Ravelry group or on Instagram using the hashtag SteekAlong2020, and it can be something as small as a baby sweater or mittens, socks, all the way up to a shawl or a full-blown garment. It really doesn't matter, and it can be a current whip. So yeah, we're both knitting this shawl. I will hold it up for you guys to see. So I am knitting mine out of primarily Buches, which is a non-superwash yarn, and so the main color is this cream or Ecru, and then the light blue color is also Buches, in their Aquamarine colorway. This is leftover from my Poet sweater and should be more than enough for one of the contrast colors. This pattern's originally written as a 2-color shawl. I'm using 3 colors. So the third color in mine is some Holst yarn in the Mariner's colorway, and it's this really pretty dark blue. It's got some green undertones to it, really saturated. I am a little worried that this color is gonna run when I block the shawl because I have previously used it in my Iskald jumper that I made earlier this year, and that bled a lot of dye out when I blocked that. So I think as long as I block this in really cold water, I'm hoping it'll be okay. I might buy some of those color catcher things that people talk about. So yeah, I have worked through, I believe, 4 sections now. And the last time I showed this on my podcast, I had just started this color work section right here with the blue. I was 1 or 2 rows in, and I had been holding some other colors in there, but I didn't like the way everything was looking. So I decided to simplify the color palette down to something a little more monochromatic, a little less busy, and I'm really liking it now, alternating between the light blue and the dark blue. It's kind of giving me Elsa from Frozen vibes. So yeah, I really, really like it. You can really get a feel for the shape of the shawl looking at it that way. So yeah, this has been something that I put down and I'll work on for a night or 2, and then I'll put it back down and come back to it. It's not a super hard pattern in terms of the construction and the shape, but it does require just a little more brain space. So I'll talk about work here in a second, but this past week I've been coming home from work and I have been absolutely exhausted, and so I haven't really had the mental energy to keep track of the charts and the increases and all of that stuff. It just requires just a smidge more attention than mindless, and so this has been more of a weekend project when I'm relaxed. Like I said, my husband might be playing video games and I'll just be knitting on the couch while listening to a book, and I'll pick this up and work on it. So really pleased. I think I'm about halfway through the pattern, not nearly halfway through the knitting, because as you know, every row gets a little longer, but I'm really liking the way it's shaping up. There is just a littlest bit of a mistake I made here along the center spine, but I think I'm just gonna figure out what I did wrong. I think I dropped a stitch because I had to tink back and duplicate over so the color work looks like it matches on either side. So yeah, this is my Woodlark shawl. I am really pleased with it and can't wait to knock out a few more rows on it. So for my final whip that I'm gonna share with you guys today, it's a new cast on. In my last sit down episode, I asked for pattern suggestions for a good project that is mindless and a little bit more time consuming, and something that you can just pick up, work on, set down, walk away from. And I just really wanted a soothing, relaxed knit that wasn't a garment, because I've been knitting a ton of those this year. I almost feel like my garment mojo is finally tanking after knitting like, I don't know, probably like 10 or 11 garments so far this year, even though there are so many more I want to cast on. But yeah, so I cast on a new shawl, and this is in a fringe bag. I picked it up at their warehouse sale earlier this summer, and I didn't realize it, but apparently they went out of business. So that was kind of surprising news to hear. So I cast on the Dotted Rays shawl. It's a pattern by Stephen West, And I know Zoe's knit a couple of these, and I know other people have knit them, and I knit about one Stephen West pattern a year, not because I dislike his patterns or don't want to knit more of them, it just seems to work out that way. So this year's West knit is the Exploration Station, and I am knitting this entirely out of leftover partial skeins in my stash. I really felt like I have 2 bins of partial skeins, and I felt like they were starting to absolutely overflow, and so it was time to bring them down a bit. And I have to apologize, I did not end on a good row for showing this off on the podcast. So as you can see, it starts in this cream yarn that's slightly speckled, and then it moves into more, you know, white speckled colors, into more predominantly hot pinks, into a speckled orange, and then now it is moving into this peach section. So I will do one of these. So yeah, I'm really enjoying how this is fading, and I will hold up the individual yarns used in this as I can, but you can see that's kind of what the peach fade is looking like in there. So the first color I used is from JunkYarn. I'm 99% sure this is her Sailor Moon base, and I'm pretty sure this is an MCN blend. I originally used this yarn in another West Knits knit, which was my Marled Magic shawl, and it then fades into more JunkYarn, and I'm pretty sure I picked this up on a destash on Ravelry. The ball looks atrocious because it is from when I had my old ball winder, and it was somehow the tilt angle got out of whack, and it gave me really fun skeins of yarn to work with before I reinvested in a new ball winder. So I need to re-cake this up. But I'm pretty sure this is also the Sailor Moon colorway, just in a different dye lot, and really more heavily speckled and dyed than this one. It could be something else. I'm not sure. I don't really remember. Those 2 colors then fade into some Hedgehog fibers I have, and there is a leftover Hedgehog mini skein in there as well, but it then fades into this from Hedgehog fibers. I'm pretty sure this is the Fly colorway. It could be a Potluck, but I'm pretty sure it's Fly. I could be wrong. I don't remember. And all of these yarns were actually used in my Marled Magic. This color then faded into another Hedgehog partial mini skein that I had that's left over, which was Cheeky, which is kind of this more, it's in here where you can see where it's a little more pink. That yarn carried a lot of the pinks through, and I used up all of that mini skein. The next yarn it goes into is more JunkYarn. This is the Leslie colorway, I'm pretty sure, and I did also get this on a Ravelry destash. And yeah, so it starts to pick up the oranges in there. It then moves into this color, which is from my sister Zoe's shop, Felicity Yarn Studio. This is her Peach Berry colorway, and it's really nice light peach with speckles of blue. And around the same time I introduced this colorway, I introduced more leftover Hedgehog. This is from my Angel Face Turban in the Monarch colorway, but I thought this one would be good because this yarn does have, it's a little bit variegated or tonal in that it's not completely peach. There's some nice breaks of white undyed fiber, which you can kind of see there. So it helps blend the transition from this to this. And I'm going to use this skein till it's gone, which I think with how much yarn the rows are using right now, there's probably one more row's worth of yarn left on this skein. And then I don't have it to show you because it's all worked into the shawl, but there is leftover woolen boon in the ambrosia salad colorway. That is this colorway right here that has the pops of green in it, and that's also a nice tonal peach. And then there is another mini skein in here from, I don't remember the name of the dyer, but I bought a mini skein set that was inspired by the Bronte sisters, and so one of those minis in there as well. I think it's this kind of more pink peach color, and I just used those till I ran out of yarn. I'm going to use all of these till I run out of yarn. This might get me to the end of the project. And the last few colors I have left in it is, actually, this is that Bronte Sisters inspired mini skein. And as you can see, it has some of the orange from the Monarch in it, as well as some of the yellows and greens in the ambrosia salad. So I'm going to use this till it's gone, which will be like 2 or 3 rows. I have left to fade in is another one of these minis from Zoe's advent calendar from 2 years ago. I pilfered it out of the project that is currently using all of these advents, and it'll be fine. It'll just be a little slightly less smooth of a transition in that project, but I am not too worried about it. This is the last color that I have right now, which I believe is from Kindred Red, and this was a partial skein that Zoe sent to me. I was originally thinking that I would use this for the bind off, and so that's why I've been holding it back, because it doesn't quite, I don't think it'll blend as smoothly as some of the other colors in here. I don't know, I might go stash diving and see what else I have in the way of minis to use. I know I was chatting about this project with Zoe the other night, and she was talking about sending me some leftover partial skeins to help finish this out, because I have 2 wedges left of the pattern before I bind off, which is a lot of yarn. The rows are really starting to eat yarn. But yeah, I've knit past the size small. I've started for the larger sizes, which is 3 more of these wedge shapes. So I have 2 more to go because I've done one of those already. And yeah, I'm really, really enjoying this knit, really enjoying this pattern. And it's been just what I need. I can pick it up in the evenings. I can knock out rows without really thinking and set it down and walk away. So it's been just what I needed. In terms of other knitting, I have been working away on my Jupiter crop, although I am not going to show that to you guys yet, because I'm hoping by next week from when this is published, I will have it finished and a dedicated video just to that for you guys. I'm really excited about it. Been documenting it. I've been teasing it on here, so I'm really hoping to be able to get that published and out. So yeah, and that is about it for knitting, because I don't think I could knit much more than that. In terms of work, things are going well, but they are just as crazy as always. We are in the process of redoing our offsite storage, and I have 3 rooms, 3 dedicated rooms in this facility. And the room we are starting with for updating our shelving and all of that good stuff holds all of our furniture and oversized pieces. And so my boss purchased a compact storage solution, and so we've rented a pod and moved all of our collections pieces out of the room, and they're in storage. And our crew that we're working with to do the install just flagged everything as a risk concern, and so I spent most of this week moving furniture, breaking down shelving and then preparing to reinstall it. And so the room that we're using is not a nice square. It's not a perfect square. It's like a rhombus in shape. So you walk in the door and it goes out to here, and then the walls taper in, and then it's shorter in the back. So that's one thing we've been working around. There is air conditioning ducting that we're trying to work around. There is a water valve that the fire inspector will need access to in a corner that we're working around, and the perimeter walls all also fall on an angle. So what we thought was going to be a quick and easy job has required a lot of designing on the fly, and then the crew doing the install flagged everything as a risk concern for the shelving sitting on these movable carriages. And so I spent Saturday rearranging everything in an Excel spreadsheet trying to make it work. And I actually went to bed Saturday night at like 11:45, and I was still mentally configuring the space in my brain. And I do think finally, after 2 or 3 days, I've been able to turn off that portion of my brain, and I'm like, I will tackle it Wednesday when I am back at work after the long weekend. So it's been fun, y'all. It's been fun, but you know what? It's been like joining a gym this week as well, so can't complain too much about that. And yeah, other than that, things are plugging along to the steady beat of the drum. Other than work, I have been really into or rediscovering my love for audiobooks again, although that love has never really gone away, but I have been tearing through books lately. I don't know, I just haven't really been into watching TV, or I normally watch a lot of other people's podcasts here on YouTube, but for some reason lately that just hasn't gripped my attention like it normally does, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I've been gravitating towards books. I've been trying to discover some new series and new authors and just, yeah, enjoy something a little bit different. I think that's part of the fatigue from 2020 is you kind of get over your normal routine and things quickly because that's all you have. Not all you have, but it's very Groundhog's Day like. With that, you guys, I think I am going to sign off. I'm hoping, like I said, next week to have that Jupiter crop video for you guys. And until then, I hope you enjoy whatever you're knitting, making, or brings you joy right now. Wishing you health and happiness. Talk to you later. Yarn Bye. That I got on a D-stash. Oh my gosh, it's caught in my project bag. And I have to apologize that this yarn looks a right mess. Okay, that's better.